In this episode of the Sitka Welsh Show, I'm on my way to Vancouver to speak to an old high school acquaintance that I hadn't seen in 17 years. His name is Jeff, and he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease when he was 24, so about 11 years ago.
I've had Parkinson's for over 11 years, and I'm still exceptionally high functioning, more high functioning than a lot of normal people. So I met my wife at 24. I was still partying. Then when I realized,
did you meet her at a rave or a club?
No, funny enough, she was. I met her at TD at the bank. I went in to resolve a banking issue that to this day still has not been resolved. I married the girl like it doesn't know. So I met her at work. Yeah, she was great. Gave me a great customer service experience. I took her card, I emailed her saying like, thank you very much for your help. She was like, went above and beyond. And
yeah.
The rest is history, man. We got together and then my Parkinson's kind of got worse, and I wanted to kind of get my act together. I didn't want to be doing like, I wasn't doing a lot of drugs. You can cut this out, but I partied, like being young and being in that environment, they were definitely around, and you know, I would be lying if I didn't say, yeah, on occasion I
participated. Yeah.
But it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting older, I've got Parkinson's, like I don't want to be doing this. So I actually took a break from touring for like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years to get my act together. My wife and I got married, and when I was ready to come back, it's kind of like the music industry is very fickle. It's kind of, you can be very forgotten
very quickly,
very fast. When I was ready to come back, I called my agent. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. He's like, okay. He went out to try to get me some bookings. No.
Yeah, who's that?
Who's that? What?
Yeah.
But I was like, literally went from like playing like, 10,000 people like shows and like arenas, like a big like raves and festivals. It's like no one knew who I was anymore, which is I totally get. And then
And so what age was that?
That was probably around like 27, 28 when that kind of started to... I was asked, like, how do I say this without sounding like a dick? Just ask.
Yeah, how did you end up going to see someone to get that diagnosis?
Well,
like, what were you noticing?
It was a long process, actually. Funny enough, the day I got diagnosed wasn't that dark. It was actually a weird relief because I'd had these symptoms for a while, and it was like, okay, I know what it is. It was after that, kind of like the weeks and months as it kind of like sunk in, that it kind of got dark. I think I remember I was just casually mentioning it to my doctor. I'm like, my leg shakes sometimes. It's kind of weird. Just don't worry about it. It's probably just restless leg. You're young. It's nothing. Don't even stress about it. Okay, great. Kind of started happening more and more, and like little things. I was doing some DJ gigs down in Miami, and I was there with some friends. We went out drinking, and I was like, it was weird. They would just like, we'd be walking down the street, and I would fall behind like a block, and I'd have to like catch up, and it was just like the stiffness, and I didn't even think anything about it. But that's just like the rigidity and the slowness of movement, and it's kind of over time I kept going back to the doctor, mentioning it, and every doctor I went to, you're too young, don't worry about it, it's nothing. And then I finally got in with the lead movement disorder guy, who's like the lead movement disorder doctor in North America at UBC, and they did some genetic testing, and I have a double recessive mutation that is known to cause Parkinson's disease, and in my case, obviously, Young-Onset.
Was that something that you had to push for? Like, were you just kind of like, no, something's wrong?
I'm a firm believer. Doctors are great. Doctors have huge egos. Like, I'm right, I know what I'm doing. Like, sure, yeah. But like, I'm also a firm believer. You need to be your own advocate for your own health. Like, I am educating myself on everything to do with Parkinson's and other neurological conditions, because I don't have an excuse to go into my doctor's office and not know at least as much as him, or like
more,
like as much as I possibly can. So you have to be your own advocate, and you know what I mean. And anyone who just basically takes a doctor at their word, I don't know. I feel sorry for them. You should. And don't like just read, like, I know doctors get really annoyed, like, I look my symptoms up on the internet.
WebMD.
See, that's different. I'm not.
But there's nothing wrong with that
sure,
either,
no, I know, but I'm not saying, like, when I say educate yourself, that's a start. Then, like, dig into, like, the actual, like, scientific papers and, like, research and whatever, and, like, really, really educate yourself. Not just, like, not just with like symptom checker, like that's part of it, but go beyond and
okay,
to the full extent. But you were asking where I was. It was a 2 to 3 year period. So I've had Parkinson's. I noticed the symptoms like maybe 13, 14 years ago, but I didn't get diagnosed until 11 years ago. The day I was diagnosed, I was kind of like, oh, that's a sense of relief. I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And then being a young person, kind of starting to think about like, what's my future going to be like? Oh God, man, that sucks. I got really, really depressed, and I got just kind of shut off from like my friends for a bit. Like I still interacted, but I was hid it as best as I could, but I was exceptionally depressed. I put a brave face on, do you know what I mean? Like I'm, as weird as it sounds, and I know it's not the way to think, I didn't want to burden anyone else with my shit. And then like that's not really the way to think. If you have close friends, that's what they're there for. I mean, that's what your family's there for. You should open up. But I just felt I didn't want to be a burden, so I just shut off, which wasn't the logical way to think. As I said, I was depressed. It made me take a look and realize what's important in life, and like the things that are truly important, like friends, family, love, like things that really, really matter. It doesn't matter that like, oh, I want to go out and party and hang out with my friends. None of that in the end matters. It's like, it really made me evaluate, and I realized what's important, and it motivated me, and like not the sense that I have a certain set period of time to do stuff, but I just became very aware that we all have a fixed set amount of time that we can actually, accomplish the things we want to accomplish in our life. And I was just really aware of it, and it just kicked my ass into gear, and I just got really, really motivated, and I've been more successful with Parkinson's than I ever was before.
Without. Yeah.
And not just like professionally, but like personally, and like from a family standpoint, with my relationship with my wife, just every aspect of my life I've been more successful with it than I ever was. Because it just it gives me a unique perspective on everything. It's my symptoms can actually switch, and I look like I'm a 90-year-old man, and it sucks because as it progresses, it does get more unpredictable in terms of how well and how long the medication works. Like when the medication works great, it's amazing, but then
sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, but no one usually ever sees me that way except like my wife, because she's with me all the time.
Yeah.
Even my family sometimes are a little bit naive about it. It's really funny. Some other people are uncomfortable with it. So I will, if it's my first time like working at a new gig or whatever, I just tell everyone, just so you know, if you don't know, I have Parkinson's. If you see me shaking, don't trip out. Like, it's all good. Like, I'm good, like, kind of, but like, it's totally fine. Don't even think about it.
I'm a financial advisor, and one of the things I do is critical illness, and that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of young people and just people in general don't know about. Like, people have no idea what critical illness is, and just for anyone watching, it's essentially a living insurance. So you get it for someone between 20 and 40, it's about $30 to $40 a month for a $100,000 cash payout.
Sure.
And it's tax-free. People can do whatever they want with that. And obviously, hindsight's 20/20, right? Yeah. Like honestly, without being, a sleazy salesman. Just so you all know, like, he's not selling me anything. Joey and I went to high school together, and it's very apparent, by the way, that your goal, that you are just genuinely, and your passion appears to be wanting to help people as 100%. Well. 100%. So yeah, I mean, So there's nothing sleazy about this. Like, I don't feel. Okay, I appreciate it. I'm not like endorsing anything. Yeah, so go on. So don't feel like, if like in your genuine, in your most genuine, and even if it's a no, if for anyone watching, is there value in pursuing or purchasing or at least exploring critical illness insurance that would pay a lump sum on MS, Alzheimer's, heart attack, stroke, cancer, like a list of? Absolutely, and especially in circumstances where you have other people other than just yourself involved, like family. Do you know what I mean? Like if you are unable to work, and like it takes burden off of it. If I was diagnosed very young, so I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. If I didn't have a condition now or whatever, it would definitely be something that I would be thinking about right now. My wife's a big planner, and she thinks about that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's huge value. I'm the perfect example of like your life can change unexpectedly at when you least expect it, and if you have the ability and the financial liquidity to spend $30 to $40 a month, dude, I would, 1,000%, because like
I'm reasonably successful now, but like there's a cap on that, and if I had the ability to have that peace of mind, I absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. You have an illness that presents its challenges.
Absolutely.
How has that affected your ability to do what you love? Or does it?
It can. I think it's affected people's perception in my ability to do what I'm really, really good at. That's why I've always said I let my work speak for itself, and it's usually I try to basically take it to a whole nother level in terms of its quality and how I do it. It's been more of a motivator, as I said before, to like pursue and really, really push. But like it's very apparent to me, even like sitting here, that there's a time limit on that because of my condition. Unless they miraculously find a new treatment or a cure for my condition, there's a set time, and it pushes me every day to be as best as I can, to do what I can.
We talked earlier about how time is a commodity and we're running out of time.
Yeah, we are.
And how your diagnosis really changed. You feel like you kind of stopped partying sooner than your other friends.
I mellowed sooner than my friends. I didn't necessarily stop partying. Like I still enjoy myself. Whether like for me, partying now that I'm in my 30s.
But your priorities
is like watching like Netflix with my wife, like immediately going home, changing like into pajamas and like like just whatever. But my priorities changed, my perspective changed. The things that are really, really important in life really became apparent to me much earlier than they would for maybe a young man or a young woman in their early 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
It just gave me a very unique perspective that not many people have, and it really made me take stock of like what's important and why is it important to me, and to really treasure and value and pursue those things and nourish those things and help them grow. And
what are the top 3, 4, 5 things that are the most important to you? That
family.
Yeah.
Being a good person, being a kind and genuine and not shady, like out for yourself. Like there are other people in the world other than just you, just trying to be a good person to help the world be a better place, even though it's kind of doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like that way sometimes, but that's even more of a reason to try to be a good person. So family, be a good person, pursue things that make you happy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like whether they make you money or not, whether if you have to work a 9 to 5 to pursue the things that make you happy, still pursue the things that make you happy. Make time to do those things. Don't make your life about just one thing. Like there are other things beyond work, and being diagnosed with Parkinson's has made me realize that this life isn't just about work. You also have to enjoy your life, and I am uncomfortable sometimes with my condition, but like I still make the biggest effort in the world to go out and enjoy myself and enjoy my life, because I still have a life to live and to enjoy, whether it's just different.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So I can't even describe.
I hope you got everything that you needed.
I for sure did.
The days